Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom. Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Yeah. Cold shit. I ain't come with goons, but I'm well connected. Walk in the room, it's pop, 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 like you got rejected. Let me see if you qualify or not. Spinning up in a tinted truck, riding around your block. Busy man. I get a word, he ain't this shit from top to bottom like a motherfucking ceiling fan. Hopping out the rental van, on my way to LAX. Brothers out in Cali and they killers out of every set. But I ain't crippin' on no blood. One West, all my niggas got it out the mud. Put your face on a t-shirt, memory of niggas acting tough on them songs, that's the drugs. I don't need no cases, all my pistols clean. So now I weigh my options, used to use the triple beam. Used to get the wok, mix it with the nicotine. Now I travel state to state and put on for my team.
The fuck wrong with them? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get them. I see niggas and they feelings, I don't feel them. Keep the Glockin' with me, it was like a ball with them. Be at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay dangerous. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody. Cut the grass for the snake, fuck the gospel. Front line with them soldiers, that's my posture. Gun drawn, tryna curse an imposter. She get out the pocket, go to war with everybody, yeah. Send that hate, make it to the featherweights. Niggas claim they hard, but they sweeter than a dedication. Hold on, think it's time to introduce. I'm a man and a beast and a stepper and a root. Hold on, and a G and a soldier and a mover. Hold on, and a killer and a prophet and a shooter, nigga. Try to stay humble, my shit crazy. Cold leader, need the blue stripes, no brick baby. Can't be serious, you a funny boy, young fly. Look wrong, must be a dummy, I ain't gun shy. Fuck that little bitch, she a hook. Niggas swear he the go, bring him to the bush. To the bush. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. Niggas in they feelings, I don't feel them. Kid the Glockin' with me, it was like a ball with him. Be at the end, gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody.
I'm from Philly, you get hot, you catch a cold case. I'm one West, these brothers trying to set my soul straight. They done turned me to a prophet from a demon, and I'm locked in this shit and I ain't leaving. Ski mask transform to war mode like I'm Voltron. Stamp on my head and my chest from the most high. Put something tight around your neck like a bow tie. Got my niggas waiting charged up like they phone died.
Red letter, drip clean, it looks so fly. Claim he riding, that's why I left his ass roadside. He gon' die, skyscraper to a nosedive. 9mm plus P, fuck a 4-5. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level. level, I should let my dog get him. I see niggas and they feelings all frill. Kick that Glock in with me, it was like a ball with him. Be at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay dangerous. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm going west, go to war with everybody.
Hey, Shalom. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shem Barakatham, Yahweh Shemalatham Bashim, Yahweh Shai. This is the ISUPK started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We teach that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians are the chosen people of God, and our oppressors are the devil that the Bible speaks of. So, ISUPK Kentucky, under Commander General Yohana, Monday night history class. Before we get started, I want to be sure to invite all Black, Hispanic, and North American Indian to tune in to our weekly content. All right, Monday nights you got the history class, 9 p.m. every week. Tuesday night, Brotherhood class, taught by Officer of 1,000, I'm a Wonga Bar. Wednesday night, the podcast, Cry Out, Spare Not podcast, hosted by Officers of 1,000, I'm a Wonga Bar in Asiapian. And Saturday morning, we got the Saturday service. So Monday night history, Tuesday night, Brotherhood, Wednesday night, the podcast, Saturday morning, Saturday service. So tonight, I actually became the Commander General Yohana. Monday night history class. We finna talk about this Houston Rodeo dress code. Now, if you haven't heard the Black Rodeo in Houston, there was just a dress code implemented. All right. And we're going to talk about the reason why they implemented the dress code. We're going to talk about where this culture comes from. There's Southern culture, this country culture, this cowboy culture. All right, because this country culture is indigenous culture. All right, this country culture is indigenous culture. So we're going to talk about the new dress code for the Houston Rodeo. We're going to talk about why it was actually implemented. And we're going to go and prove how this culture is indigenous culture. All right, ISUPK Kentucky under Commander General Yohana. You ain't finna get this kind of work nowhere else besides the UPK under Commander General Yohana. So let's go ahead and get this started. All right, Houston Rodeo's new dress code raises serious concerns around discrimination. Dress codes have historically been used to discriminate against people of color. And this is what this dress code is for. Right, this is what this dress code is for. You never hear this about any of these so-called white rodeos. You never hear about any dress code about any of these goddamn white rodeos. But as soon as we reclaim what's ours, as soon as we reclaim our culture, now we have a dress code. Let's get to it. All right, Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo instituted a new dress code as a part of its updated code of conduct, which took effect immediately after it was announced on Tuesday. The swift implementation came after online discourse reached a fervor pitch with tweets and TikTok videos complaining about a growing trend of inappropriate outfits on the rodeo grounds. Dressing up in your best Western gear is part of the experience for many. Still, there have been a growing chatter about folks taking their outfits too far, showing up in clothes that many find too risque for an event that is supposed to be family friendly. Although many people have praised the rodeo's decision to crack down on revealing Western-inspired wear, there are concerns that the dress code should be used to disproportionately discriminate against people of color. And again, this is what it's going to be about. It's got nothing to do with what people are wearing, because you never hear about any dress code at a white rodeo. But again, as soon as we take back our culture, now it's a problem, right? It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. It says there are concerns that the dress code could be used to disproportionately discriminate against people of color. Dress codes have historically been used in bars and nightclubs to discriminate against people of color. For example, last summer, Houston City Council member Edward Pollard proposed an amendment requiring nightclubs and dance halls with dress codes to clearly post the policy at their entrances, after he and city controller Chris Hollins were denied entry into a midtown establishment. The rodeo's new rules prohibit and remove anyone from the grounds who is deemed to be dressed in outfits that could detract from the experience with other guests. Exposed undergarments and excessive amount of skin are both cited as factors determining if the outfit meets family-friendly requirements. Hypothetically, if someone makes another individual or family attending the rodeo uncomfortable, they could potentially have them removed from the rodeo. Will the rodeo staff, largely made up of volunteer workforce, be trained to determine what's appropriate and what's not? Again, like I said, it's not a problem at a white rodeo. It's just a problem at a black rodeo. All right, the dress code could find itself treading a fine line in determining who is allowed to wear what. Could you be escorted out because your jean shorts show too much leg? The new dress code also outlawed any visible tattoos, clothing, or indicators of gang affiliation, insignia, or jewelry on rodeo grounds. This part of the updated conduct policy is a clear response to the trend of fights breaking out at the rodeo, which caused the event to shut down early this past weekend and forced the rodeo to beef up security. This set of rules once again begs the question, how will the rodeo determine if someone is gang related? Will the staffers and security have the knowledge to determine this at the door? Or will it just focus on young, black and brown rodeo goers in cowboy attire? Again, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. All right. As soon as we start to reclaim something that's ours, as soon as we take back our culture, now it's the issue. All right. Will staffers and security have the knowledge to determine this at the door, or will it just focus on young, black and brown rodeo goers in cowboy attire? The rodeo has become extremely popular, becoming an event that people descend on the city to attend. Many view out-of-towners and spring breakers as the culprits forcing the rodeo's hand because of a misconception of what a rodeo is. In response to concerns about the dress code, the HLSR told the Houston Chronicle that staff have been thoroughly informed about the new policy, but the leadership team will be responsible for making final determinations on a case-by-case basis. The enforcement of gang-affiliated clothing or markings has been part of the rodeo's dress code for the past year. We are not actively checking guests at the gate. If a potential concern is brought to our attention, leadership will review the situation. Situations will be handled by trained leadership staff and evaluated on a case-by-case basis to help ensure the policy is applied consistently and without discrimination. But we already know that this is what they got a problem with. This is what they have a problem with. All right, young black and brown people reclaiming what is ours. All right, this is what they have a problem with. Because you never hear about this at a white rodeo. See, this is perfectly acceptable. This is perfectly acceptable. You'll never hear about a dress code at a white rodeo. You'll never hear about a dress code policy at a white rodeo. And they could wear this and be just fine. Again, it's only a problem when it's us. It's only a problem when we take back what belongs to us. So with that, like I said, Houston Rodeo is implementing the dress code, and it's only to further discriminate against the Lord's chosen people. It's only being done to further discriminate against Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians, but taking back a culture that is rightfully ours. And it's the same thing that was done with Beyonce. It was the very same thing that was done with Beyonce. When she decided to come home, when she decided to go back to her roots, this is what happened. It says Beyonce takes home first country music award at the Billboard Music Awards. But country singer John Rich slams Beyonce for Grammy win and blast the show for trying to become more diverse. The station manager, Roger Harris, emailed Mr. McGowan back with a concise rejection. We do not play Beyonce at KYKC as we are a country music station. Well, the issue with that, number one, country music, American country music, is the fourth most popular music genre in the world. All right, American country music is the fourth most popular music genre in the world. Now, country music has long been considered a genre made by and for white folks. However, this conception is empirically false. Its roots were heavily influenced by Black music and shaped by Black traditions. Country music has its roots in Black and Indigenous music traditions that were already established in North America. Again, this culture belongs to us. All right, this Southern culture, this country culture belongs to us. All right, country music has its roots in Black and Indigenous music traditions that were already established in North America. Leslie Riddle is the reason why we have country music. All right, a Black man named Leslie Riddle is the reason why we have the country music we have today. And his influence can be heard throughout the mountains of Appalachia to the Cowboy Carter Beyonce album. All right, a Black man named Leslie Riddle is responsible for American country music. A Black man named Leslie Riddle is responsible for the fourth most popular music genre in the world. All right, the two-step. All right, often called the Texas two-step. All right, it's called stepping or two-stepping to the local Black community, and it's as intrinsic to the city as jazz or slow-cooked brisket. All right, now where does it come from? All right, what's the origin? Where does this culture go back to? I'm finna walk this all the way down for y'all. If you never heard it, all right, take some notes. All right, because you ain't finna get this drop nowhere else. All right, the word Geechee, used to describe the language of the coastal region of Georgia, particularly those who live near the Ogeechee River. Ogeechee may be derived from the Muskogee term meaning river of the Uchis, referring to the Uchi people. And this is going to be an important group of people because the Uchi were one of the groups that eventually became the Seminole and fought against the expansion of the United States. All right, Ogeechee may be derived from the Muskogee term meaning river of the Uchis, referring to the Uchi people. 17th century, the Uchi Indians lived in Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, near the Muskogee. The Muskogee, also known as the Creek. All right, by the mid-1700s, former slaves and remnants of the most resistant tribes, the Creek, the Yamasee, the Stono, the Uchi, and the Miccosukee Indians became known as the Seminole. All right, the Seminole is not an ancient nation of people. All right, the Seminole is not an ancient group of people. All right, it was a bunch of small groups. They had a common interest and all joined together to fight against the expansion of the United States. All right, the Stono Indians referred to an American Indian tribe that historically inhabited the area around the Stono River in South Carolina. The battle they strategized to lead is called the Stono Rebellion, which was the start of the Gullah Wars. Now, the Gullah Wars is a term to describe the Seminole Wars, highlighting the significant role of escaped slaves out of South Carolina that spoke Gullah and fought against the U.S. military during those conflicts. All right, Andrew Jackson, during the First Seminole War, resulted in the Uchi moving to eastern Florida. They fought alongside the Seminole in the Second Seminole War under Chief Uchi Billy. All right, Uchi Billy was said to be the son of John Hicks, a Miccosukee chief, and his wife. In 1818, he was identified as the chief of a Uchi town of 75 people associated with Miccosukee villages east of Tallahassee. All right, the Third Seminole War, 1855. By the cessation of active fight in 1858, the few remaining bands of Seminoles in Florida fled into the Everglades, land unwanted by American settlers. Taken together, the Seminole Wars were the longest, most expensive, and most deadly of all the American Indian Wars. All right. The Seminole Wars were the longest, most expensive, and most deadly of all American Indian Wars. Now, 1860 to 1858, the Seminoles fought the U.S. Army in an attempt to resist relocation to the West. The Indian Removal Act, also called the Trail of Tears, beginning in 1830, meant the dispersal of their people to Oklahoma, Mexico, and Texas. So we're going to see this culture flow through the South because of this Indian Removal Act. All right, the act also had effect of reclassifying American Indians as Negro, making them vulnerable to further discrimination and violence in the South. Now, what happened next is a lot of these smaller groups that became known as Seminole eventually decided to flee into Texas because Texas was the last frontier of chattel slavery in the United States. All right, 1829, Vicente Guerrero, the Mexican president, outlawed slavery in the territory. All right, Texas was the last area to adopt slavery. All right, Texas becomes a state 1845 and doesn't officially adopt slavery until 1850. So at this time, there was no slavery in Texas. All right, entire free communities of blacks existed under Spanish rule in Florida and other parts of the empire. And needed people to patrol the Texas border. The Mexican government offered Maroons and Seminoles a joint grant of land at the juncture of Rio San Rodrigo and Rio San Antonio. So we have people actually escaping slavery by going south. All right, groups of Seminoles and Creeks led by John Horse and Wildcat left Indian Territory, which would later become Oklahoma, travel into Mexico, where they could live without fear of re-enslavement under the Fugitive Slave Law. All right, here's John Horse, aka Juan Cavallo. And that's why you can see this Gullah language found in Mexico today. It traveled with these people that escaped slavery in South Carolina, fled south into Florida, all right, and joined other groups, other smaller groups, the Uchi, the Miccosukee, the Stono, the Creeks, and these groups came together and formed what would be called the Seminole. All right, again, Seminole is not an ancient people. All right, the Seminole are a bunch of smaller groups that had a similar interest and resisted the expansion of the United States. After the Third Seminole War, these newly formed Seminoles were sent on the Trail of Tears, ended up in Oklahoma. By 1849, you had several hundred families that left and went into Texas. After 1850, Texas officially brings on slavery as an institution. And because of fear of the Fugitive Slave Act, you had these families move further south into Mexico. And that's why you still see this language spoken in Mexico today. All right, now the cowboy hat as we know it evolved in the 1800s, influenced by the sombrero worn by the Mexican cowboys. So you see this culture coming together. All right, the cowboy hat as we know it evolved in the 1800s, influenced by the sombrero worn by Mexican cowboys. All right, you think he's confused? Or do you think he knows what his culture is? Do you really think he's confused and don't know who he is? Or do you think he knows what his culture is? Let's work. All right, the indigenous roots of the cowboy. Like I said, this cowboy culture, this country culture is indigenous culture. All right, classic Westerns have cemented the image of cowboys as white Americans, but the first wave of horse riding cow wranglers in North America were indigenous men. All right, the first wave of horse riding cow wranglers in North America were indigenous men. All right, this country culture is indigenous culture. Now, after Juneteenth, After 1865, when slavery was officially abolished in the state of Texas, you had many of these families come back. All right, one of these families was the July family. All right, here's Benjamin July. All right, was a Seminole Indian scout who served at Fort Clark, Texas in the late 19th century. He is depicted in an 1888 photograph with his family representing the legacy of Seminole Indian scouts known for their tracking and fighting abilities. 1873, Seminole Indians served as Buffalo soldiers and scouts for the Army without a single man being killed in 25 actions. All right, here's the Texas Seminoles. All right, later consolidated into 4 regiments, the 9th and 10th Cavalry and 24th and 25th Infantry. Buffalo soldier troops served mostly on the western frontier, building the infrastructure. So these same groups that banded together in Florida and fought in 3 Seminole Wars, these same families that went on the Trail of Tears into Oklahoma, into Texas, into Mexico, and then back into Texas after 1865, after Juneteenth. All right, these families that became part of the Buffalo Soldier legacy, all right, as the 9th and 10th Cavalry and 24th and 25th Infantry, all right, served mostly on the western frontier building the infrastructure. So what does that mean? That means that we built the roads out west. We carried the mail out west. We cleared the trees out west. We built the state parks out west. We built the railroads out west. And brought the culture along with us. All right, brought the culture along with us. Part of this culture is the food. I talk about food all the time. All right, because if you don't have a food culture, you don't have a culture. Because the food determines the direction the culture is going to go. Meaning, if you don't know how to farm, if you're just chasing herds and you don't farm, you'll never build anything permanent. You'll always live in tents and follow the herds. But knowing how to farm, knowing the 4 seasons, knowing when to plant, when to harvest, now you can build something permanent. And that's how we were able to build the infrastructure out west. Again, we built the roads out west. We delivered the mail out west. We built the state parks out west. All right, built the whole infrastructure out west and took the culture along with us. Now, what else? All right, 20th century denim was adopted as a preferred workwear fabric choice for Western cowboys in the U.S. We just read who the cowboys were. All right, 20th century denim was adopted as a preferred workwear fabric choice for Western cowboys in the U.S. So denim is a part of our culture. All right, denim has always been a part of our culture. All right, also of interest is the history of the first Kansas Colored Volunteers, which was the first Black regiment in the Union Army. Now, the Kansas Colored Volunteers used to be the military force of the Confederacy. But the Confederacy ended up flipping on them. It was called the Battle of Blood on Ice, and the Kansas Colored Volunteers switched sides and joined the Union. All right, I would also draw your attention to the first cowboys were Black men, free and freedmen, in Oklahoma, driving cattle from Fort Worth, Texas to Kansas City. All right, I would also draw your attention to the first cowboys were Black men, free and freedmen, in Oklahoma, driving cattle from Fort Worth, Texas to Kansas City. But the freedmen are American Indians. All right, the aim of this pictorial is to demonstrate that the domestic slave trade had reduced ethnic Native Americans to African slaves for sale, and that they too had been freed or received benefit from emancipation by its effect upon the Indian nations to abolish slavery by the subsequent treaties of 1866. And here's Morris Shepherd, a freedman. As you can see, with the cowboy hat on, again, you think these people don't know what their culture is? All right, what we know best of cowboys is from the time of the trail drivers after the Civil War, when cowboys would drive cattle from the land owned by Tejano ranchers down in South Texas and travel north. But who worked these cattle drives? At that time, cowboys in South Texas were Hispanic. Along the Texas coast, the cowboys were black. As the cattle drive traveled up the trails, there were American Indian cowboys. So at this point in time, the cowboys in South Texas were Hispanic. Along the coast, along that Gulf Coast, the cowboys were black. And as the cattle drive traveled up the trails, you had your American Indian cowboys. Again, this has always been our culture. All right. Country culture is indigenous culture. All right. Rodeos gained popularity in the late 19th century, became venues for cowboys to showcase their skills and style. But you wouldn't have rodeo what it is today without a black man named William Pickett. All right. Willie Pickett was born, all right, Williamson County, Texas, 1870. All right, this is where you get your Bill Pickett Rodeo from. All right, Willie Pickett was born in Texas, 1870. His family's ancestry was Cherokee. Again, this country culture is indigenous culture. All right, here's Bill Pickett. Now, we just read that his ancestry is Cherokee. If you've ever seen the movie, The Harder They Fall, they had an African playing Bill Pickett in the movie. Why would you have an African? Why would you have an African playing a Cherokee? Or do they not want you to know that this is our culture? The very same reason Beyonce was hated on for the Cowboy Carter album. For the same reason, they're going to use this new dress code at the Houston Rodeo to further discriminate against the Lord's chosen people. Again, there's somebody that doesn't want us to know that this culture belongs to us. All right, Bill Pickett was born 1870. He and his brothers founded the Pickett Brothers Bronco Busters and Rough Riders. Their specialty was taming wild cattle. Here's Bill Pickett and his brothers. Again, their whole family's Cherokee. Now, if you ever played Cowboys and Indians as a kid, problem is nobody told you the Cowboys was the Indians. If you ever played Cowboys and Indians when you was a little kid, how come nobody told you the Cowboys was the Indians? Let's work. All right, Pickett competed in his first rodeo in 1888 and was popular by the early 20th century. He joined the Miller Brothers 101 Ranch and the Wild West Show in 1905 and was involved there for 25 years. Pickett starred in several movies and is considered to be the first Black American cowboy movie star. He appeared in Crimson Skull and The Bulldogger, both of which were filmed in Oklahoma. Concert promoter Lou Vasson founded the Bill Pickett Invitation to Rodeo in 1984. The term rodeo celebrates Black cowboys. 1989, Pickett was introduced into the Rodeo Hall of Fame. So here's your legend, Mr. Bill Pickett. And Bill Pickett Invitation to Rodeo, Juneteenth weekend, Fort Worth, Texas. All right, Bill Pickett Invitation to Rodeo, Juneteenth weekend, Fort Worth, Texas. Again, this is what our enemy doesn't want to see. This is what our enemy doesn't want to see. Because our enemy knows that this culture is a culture of resistance. Our enemy knows that this culture goes all the way back to the Seminole Wars. Our enemy knows that this culture goes all the way back to the Seminole Wars, which was the longest, most expensive, and most deadly of all of the American Indian Wars. And truth be told, the United States never won. The United States never won, and the Seminoles never signed a peace treaty. The United States never officially won the Seminole Wars, and the Seminole never signed a peace treaty. So this culture is a culture of resistance. This culture is a culture of defiance. Again, because the enemy knows that this is the culture that goes all the way back to the Seminole Wars. And again, the Seminole Wars were the longest, most expensive, and most deadly of all the American Indian Wars. Again, the U.S. never won the Seminole Wars. The Seminole never signed a peace treaty. All right, let's drop that. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. Book of Jeremiah 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. All right, the Bible says we would discontinue from our heritage. All right, we think that country music is white folks' music. We think that country music was made by and for white folks. And we read earlier that a black man named Leslie Riddle is the reason why we have country music today. All right, a black man named Leslie Riddle is responsible for the fourth most popular genre of music in the world. All right, the fourth most popular music genre in the world. All right, so let's drop that. All right, I want to appreciate y'all for hanging out with me, man, soaking up some of this game here. All right, Monday night history class, every Monday, Lord willing, 9 p.m. All right, Tuesday night brotherhood class, 7 p.m. Taught by Officer of 1,000. I'm a Wanga Bar. Tuesday night, come and get the best biblical breakdowns in the state of Kentucky. Come and get the best biblical breakdowns in the state of Kentucky. All right, Wednesday night, the podcast, Cry Out, Spirit Not Podcast, 9 p.m. every Wednesday, hosted by Officers of 1,000. I'm a Wanga Bar and Asiapian. And come and hear the biblical breakdowns, the biblical solutions to all of the viral videos going across the internet. All right, this is the podcast that breaks down other podcasts. All right, this is the podcast that breaks down every other podcast. All right, and Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Sabbath service. So Monday night history, Tuesday night brotherhood, Wednesday night the podcast, Saturday morning Sabbath service. And before we end it, all right, this is the biggest event of the year. The biggest event of the year. The Lord's 57th annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, Houston, Texas. All right, we got the Passover kickoff, the lamb slaughter. It's going to be that Wednesday, April 1st. All right, the annual Passover kids party, scripture breakdown. That's going to be Thursday, April 2nd. The all-black party, Friday, April 3rd. And of course, the 57th annual Lord's Passover is going to be Saturday, April 4th. Sunday is a Feast of Unleavened Bread. $200 per person. All right, with that, we'll go ahead and end it. Shalom. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatham. Yahweh Shemal Tham Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. And with that, dismiss.
Damn drinking with your brothers and that shit, then you about to get tried out here, but don't be caught lacking. Don't kill your brother off some bullshit, man. Don't hurt your people, man. This is for protection only, man. I got family out this bitch, man. I got brothers out this bitch. I gotta protect. Somebody trying to run up on us. We lacking. What we gonna do? Fight him? Fight a nigga with a machine gun? Now we're gonna bust your ass. We'll cut your head off and bring it back to the Lord, man. UPK shit, man. Hey, man. to the place. Ice on me, come and skate. You really hoe wanna escape. Yeah, we up, fish face. Or outwork me, what you think? Pretty girl, good taste. Wanna know all my traits. You know I'm on attention. I'm James Brown, to the Israel. Bullets long, yeah, extensions. The nigga hate what they mention. Y'all pull up how I'm gifted. I'm Mike Jacks with the fixin'. Beat it like I'm Thriller. She say I'm obnoxious. Say I got way too much confidence. Say it's a problem. All I do is try to pull a woman. They say I'm a monster. But really, it ain't nothing. I'm just like my brothers. But shit, you know you look better with me, yeah. Yeah, you know you look better with me. How I pull up and then shock. I do my dance on them, what the fuck? How I judge, run it up. You coming fast, girl, boy, stop, bitch. Okay, you know you look better with me, damn. Bitch, you basic. If you don't want a South Coast nigga, you chasing ranking. And really, you ain't even damn exquisite. And bitch, you faking. Wanna rush a dog sick nigga. And the picture I painted. And I mean, everywhere I say T. Might give you some flavor. But I guess you ain't even wanna take it. Bitch, you outdated. And you done gave it up for some paper. You just like your main man. Start with 3 damn baby daddies. Spit what you thinking. You were thinking with your damn bodies, huh? You the type motherfucker wanna pull up, how the fuck when the fuck, huh? Then beat it from the back, no damn attack, it was just for lunch, huh? Dirty damn bot pussy bitch, wanna talk shit on the low, huh? Wanna diss everybody with, cause you don't even know how they say I'm obnoxious. Say I got way too much confidence, say it's a problem. All I do is try to pull a woman, they say I'm a monster. But really, it ain't nothing, I'm just like my brothers. But shit, you know you look better with me, yeah. Girl, you know you look better with me. How I pull up and then shock. I do my dance on them, what the fuck? How I judge, run it up. You call me flashy girl, boy, stop, bitch. Okay, you know you look better with me, dance. I don't know, trying to get right with the preacher, probably on the low, huh? What the fuck you talking about, girl? You already know what the fuck we on, huh? We ain't passing down bitches, but you get right, what you already know, huh? Bitch, you know you look better with me, yeah.
Backstage.
Back row.
But I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury, I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Gun on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart, grip my bow tie. Waiting on the storm in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart, grip my bow tie. Living in the storm in my whole life. My whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, it got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably folding this features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. So I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Tahoe Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that black work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Lighters in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. It can't, the streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on this war in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know life. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in this war in my whole life. My whole life.
Fuck what them bitches gotta say. I'm a woman where's a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love fuck what them niggas gotta say. I'm a woman where's a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad of this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, go through the baddest conditions. I'm fucking up with the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, niggas. She know I'm a prophet, she glad to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' the different breed of black men. We don't do the back bend. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like don't forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we soldier. You can take that to the bank, we focus on. How many times must we remind you? One body, one ransom. Break off and never take off, that's a flex. When the law with you ain't no up next. It's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world. I responded and called back. Oh Lord. And everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit, we want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine, that's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake ass niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better have the women, have the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't butt the city. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in here with me. We in the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Black and Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be fresh as hell, take a picture. And we professional with the scriptures. Play, we gon' scratch from, yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The slide that I know about is when I assemble the Glock with the slide on. Real, I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got 9s, AKs, Berettas. business. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like, bitch, or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like. My nigga like them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come under command and general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me, like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, 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 that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah.